No, I woke up and I have a 3-year-old young dog. Still thinks he's a puppy. And I got up early. And so I went with my dog, Oliver, out into our living room. And there's one couch that he can get up on. So I sat down next to him on the couch. And so much what I've learned from Sid Banks is there's a whole nother world right here parallel to the one that's created by our own thinking. And there's only one way to discover that world. There's only one way to access deeper feelings of well-being. There's only one way to access wisdom. There's only one way to access the spiritual dimension of life. And it's simple. You can't think your way to that other world that's so beautiful. No one can. So it doesn't matter how intellectually smart you are. There's another world right here, parallel to this one, always. And you can't think your way to it. So almost every talk Sid gave, he would help us by reminding us, you have to go beyond the words. You have to go beyond the intellect. You have to go beyond all concepts, all beliefs. Not forever. Just for a moment. Just for a moment. So we try to do that. And very quickly you understand trying is thinking that if you hold on to it, creates some degree of tension or stress. So Sid would say, oh, no, it has nothing to do with trying. Nothing. So he'd give us hints. He'd say, you're looking for the present moment. Because in the present moment, you're not thinking or you're not present. And how far away is the present moment for any of us ever? This is such a radical teaching on Sid's part. You're a thought away in every moment from the present moment. Present moment is so simple and so ordinary. And all of you at different times in the day become present, or you wouldn't be able to walk across the room. You wouldn't be able to drive a car. You wouldn't smile. You would never be able to enjoy nature or food or friends or your partner. And it's right here all the time. So simple. So I go in with my dog, and I'm already starting to think about talking to you guys. Am I present with my dog while I'm thinking about talking to you folks? You know who lets me know? My dog. You know how my dog lets me know when he sees me on the couch with him thinking? He puts his paw up and smacks my leg, like, wake up. So I said, well, the best preparation for today, the best preparation for anything, the best preparation for a meeting, the best preparation when you're meeting someone, the best preparation if you have a problem is to take that one little step into the now. Nowhere to go, nothing to do, nothing to figure out, no trying, no doing. Ordinary. And this is the space in which the magic happens. Because when you're present, you're not holding a single thought. You don't care if you have thoughts going through your head. You're not holding them. You're not holding them with your attention. You're not thinking about them. You're not thinking about something. You're not focusing on something in the world and thinking about it. You're just present. No holding. So it's a letting go. That's what forgiveness is. It's a complete letting go. Complete. Just for a moment. Not holding. If you're not holding a thought, there's presence. The energy that you bring to the world changes. There's the energy of holding. And there's the energy of not holding. So Sid would remind us, you have to let go of all the words. No holding. And that's where you naturally and automatically be brought into the present moment, into the now. So I'm sitting on the couch with my dog, and he's whacking me with his paw. And if I pick up my phone, he'll push my arm down. Animals know about presence. That's what they thrive on, respond to. So I drop in. I'm present with my dog. All of a sudden, he yawns. A yawn is how we release tension. Horses do it. Humans do it. It's a releasing of tension. And then he just sits down, and then with more presence, he just lays down. I'm not saying anything to him. It's all in the feeling. There's a certain feeling to presence that's not there when we're thinking. And he puts his head down. And periodically, he'd lift up his head and he'd look me right in the eye. Incredible intimacy. And then he put his head down. And then he rolled over and he put his head on my lap. This has nothing to do with the intellect or verbalizing or words. Now, people are no different. They can sense and they respond to presence. I got so excited when I started to learn I'm a thought away from well-being. And I started seeing the benefits for myself, not from someone else, not from a teacher. Sid would say, don't listen to my words. I want you to drop into an experience where I'm trying to point you so that you get familiar with that space within yourself. It's so ordinary, so available. Anytime. How far away is the present moment? It's a thought away. Anytime, anywhere. You could be in a life and death situation. You're a thought away from being present. And yet, it's very interesting. Most adults, when they're having difficulty or problems, don't take that one little step where we become wide open to a different feeling. And in that feeling, all the wisdom we need to guide us through difficulties. What do most adults do when they're having difficulty? They do more thinking. More thinking. And more thinking creates more tension and more stress and more trying and more dissatisfaction and more confusion. And then I would hear Sid's words, you can't think your way to well-being. No human being can. It's already in you. I know you've been talking about the connection between the spiritual and the psychological. The psychological is anything in my experience that has taken form. And once it takes form, I can label it with my intellect and call it something. I'm sad, I'm upset, I'm happy, I feel loving. Those are labels the intellect puts on things. Sid would say, go before the labels. You don't have to understand this intellectually. One time, Sid saw me sitting there by myself, thinking up all kinds of insecurity. And he walked into the room, and there was only Sid and I, only the two of us. And he sat down next to me, and he did with me what I did with my dog. He just sat quietly in presence. On a deeper level, we're all connected. And I got even more insecure. I'm thinking. And then I look over and I see how non-judgmental he is. He's just present. You can tell if someone's really present, they're safe. You can tell they're not thinking, so they're not judging, so they're safe. And you start to relax in the face of pure presence. And I turned to Sid, and then he did say some things. He said, Dicken, was so sweet. Dicken, don't you know that when you feel the way you feel, you can just ignore everything you're thinking? That's another way of saying go beyond the words, be present, pay no attention to any thought content. So freeing. Freedom from labels, concepts, judgments, shoulds. Freedom. What's the feeling of freedom? You don't have to label it. Sid says you're looking for a feeling. It's the feeling that's always here when you're not caught up in your concepts, your thoughts, your words. And because you're not in your concepts, you don't label the feeling, but it's a nice feeling. I can be all caught up, and all of a sudden my feeling lets me know I'm stuck. The feeling. As Natasha and I like to say, it's a friendly invitation. This feeling is a good thing, and it invites us to take one step back into the now, to come home to this place of rest. No holding, no suffering. To connect again with this energy of life, the spiritual dimension. It's formless. That's why it's beyond the words. It's always there, available to us. Because we're always already connected to this field of energy in which we live. We're part of that field of energy. We're made of energy. So this is Sid's advice. If you're looking for well-being, or if you're having difficulty, or if you want answers to problems, reconnect with energy before it's taken form, before it becomes a word, before it becomes concept. And so sometimes Sid would say, you're listening for a feeling. He says, but there's no word in any language for that feeling, because it's before it goes through your intellect and gets labeled. And it's a beautiful feeling. Okay, here's my drawing I did for you just before joining you. Hope you can see this. It shows you my great artistic talent. Can you see that? Pure light hits a pure crystal prism, and it bursts into a rainbow of color. Peace, joy, love. See, this triangle is the intellect. And when we're not holding any thought, this triangle is clear. If we're caught up in thought, it's caught up in what's Sid called, it's not pure, it's contaminated by what? By negative thoughts, beliefs, memories, the past, the future. So he says, let go beyond all the words. So what he's saying is, don't be out here or caught up in contaminating thoughts. Come back to pure energy, pure light, pure feeling, pure feeling. He's saying you're listening for the feeling before it hits your intellect. You want to know what that feeling is like? Just hang out with little kids. They know the secret. They get present. They fill up with a nice feeling, and then they interact. And you can tell when people are acting out of a nice feeling. We call that play. We can tell when people are caught up in thought. We call that being serious. Some people call it being an adult, but I don't want to be that kind of adult. Caught up and serious and dissatisfied and judging, and go beyond all thought. You're a thought away from everything you're looking for. The state of no thought, presence. There's quiet because you're not listening to all that thought noise. It's quiet. And there is a feeling. The feeling, there's no word that can describe that feeling because it's before language. But universally, when people drop out of thought and rest in the now, and they tap into that feeling, they describe it in positive terms. They're not trying to think positive or be positive, but the feeling of presence is a beautiful feeling. That's what my dog responds to, the feeling. That's what my grandkids respond to when I'm with my grandkids, the feeling. That's what my wife responds to. She can tell when I'm caught up and not present. It's really easy. If I took any one of you and we walked into any house in Denmark and we said, just look for the degree of presence in the people, nothing else. You'll see some people are doing a lot of thinking. Some people are sort of present. Some people are fully present. And you'll be able to see the difference in feeling. It'll be evident. This is what I used to do when I would, after I learned these principles, I wanted to connect with this pure energy, which Sid says the purest of energy is really another way of talking about universal love. It's unconditional. It's the energy of life radiating like light. So I'd come home from work, I'd get to the front door, and I would check my feeling. And I could tell immediately the degree of my presence. And I'm going, what am I going to bring into the house for my family? Serious or presence? And I'd walk in and I'd look for the degree of presence. And I had this idea, I wonder if I can help whoever is most caught up in their thinking. How do you help people who are caught up in their thinking? It's easy. If you're thinking about how to help someone who's caught up, you're caught up, so you can't help them. You can't. I've tried. Oh, have I tried? You become present and just go be with that person. And if something lighthearted occurs to you, you can say it to them. But the words don't matter. It's the feeling before it hits the intellect. It's a beautiful feeling. Look at a baby. No concepts, no beliefs, no holding. The feeling of presence. Beautiful. You could be in the worst mood in the world, very upset. You're a thought away from the present moment, and the feeling of being fully present is a beautiful feeling, always. Some people call this feeling is the same as surrender. When you let go of everything, it feels like, when you get into bed at night, if you let go of everything, it feels so good. Letting go is a beautiful feeling because you can't be thinking and letting go at the same time. When you let go, you're present. When you're present, there's a nice feeling. So love and surrender, love and forgiveness, beautiful feeling and letting go, forgiveness always go hand in hand. You forgive means you're letting go of all your judgmental thoughts, all your thinking, all your limited ideas and beliefs and concepts. And there's what's left, presence. And what's found in presence, it's almost like we're mysteriously guided toward saying and doing the right thing, the loving thing, the kind thing. And you can't figure that out. No one can. You don't have to. You don't have to read books about how to be good in a relationship. You find the feeling of presence and go be with people and just trust whatever comes out of your mouth is perfect. And it's not the words that are perfect. It's the feeling in those words, behind those words, that people respond to. People respond to the feeling, presence. I've never seen a relationship improve until one or the other person becomes more present and starts bringing a nicer feeling consistently to the other person. It's the only way. It's not rocket science. It's, as Sid would say, simple logic. You bring negativity to someone and you want them to improve, good luck. You bring warm-hearted, non-judgmental presence to people. Without them even knowing it, they start responding to it. Now, I had to experiment with my kids and my grandkids and my wife and my friends. If I was really present, did that help draw them into presence, or did it get them more caught up in their thinking? And time again, I saw, just like happened with my dog this morning, right into deep relaxation. There's a guy named James French who learned that you could take animals that have been abused horribly, and you know how you help them heal? You come to them with nothing but presence. And before you know it, that animal will be laying down, resting, relaxed. And it's the building of trust, connection, love. It's the foundation of love. So when I think of forgiveness, I think of one step into the now, resting, open, receptive to pure energy. The energy of what? The universe. And it's flowing, it's moving, So you'll feel that movement of universal life energy in your body as a nice feeling. When we're holding thought, that energy doesn't flow and it feels like this. If you take a garden hose that's got water running through it and you put a crimp in it, the pressure builds up and it can't flow. You uncrimp it and the water flows. It's the same with us as human beings. You can see people holding life, holding thoughts, holding ideas. I'm right. I have to prove this to you. Listen to me. Do what I say. Do what I do. And then you can see people when they're not holding, they soften. They become present. They become courageous. They become strong. They become lovers. They become kind-hearted. It's built into everybody. So when we take our psychology and connect it to pure energy, it creates through our psychological system beautiful things, new ideas, new thoughts, creativity, enjoyment. Our senses come alive. Love, peace of mind, happiness. What are positive feelings? It's life energy flowing through us unimpeded, unobstructed, unheld. This is why they say if you're in a life and death situation, don't crimp your hose. Stay in open channel. Stay calm. Stay calm is another way of saying step into the present moment. You don't have to know intellectually what to do in this situation. Wisdom knows. Stay calm and you'll have all the common sense you need to deal with whatever horrible thing is going on around you. You connect the psychological with the spiritual. One time Sid called me up and said, Dicken, you have to go beyond the psychological to the spiritual. And my intellect agreed. And I said, I know, Sid. He goes, no, because he knew it was my intellect. He says, no, you have to go beyond the psychological. And I said, yeah. And he goes, no, you have to go beyond the psychological to the spiritual. He said it to me about 10 times. And after about the 6th time, I did what he said. I stopped thinking about what he was saying and agreeing or disagreeing. I went beyond my intellect. And you can't fool someone who has a deep understanding. They can tell when you're thinking and when you're fully present. You get so sensitive to that in yourself and others. Just ordinary. Thought away. Rest. You don't have to know anything intellectually. You don't have to know how to deal with your screaming kids or the spouse that just said something from a low state. You come back home to presence. Why is that? Because it says that's where you find the answer to every single one of your life challenges. Everyone, no exception. It's in the feeling. You find the feeling, you come back to pure energy, and it's full of wisdom, full of a knowing that can't be found in the intellect. And Sid would say, always, don't take my word for this. Don't listen to my words. You see if this isn't true. I'm telling you it's true, but you find out for yourself that you're a thought away from the now. See if that isn't true. See if resting in the now doesn't feel good. See if when you feel good, you don't do better in situations than when you feel uptight and caught up. Find out if surrender isn't a beautiful feeling. Find out if when you let go of all thinking, the energy you feel starts opening up and expanding rather than contracting. Find out. Don't ever take anybody's word for it, because once you find out, then it's yours. Then you know. Then you know where to look. Then you won't be one of the adults that when they have difficulty, they do more thinking. As soon as you have difficulty, you go, oh, thank you for reminding me there's another world. And it's full of beautiful feeling and knowing. Ah, thank you for that reminder. Tension, stress, upset. Thank you. Thank you for waking me up to the now. To be open and receptive to the energetic flow of life energy. Thank you. And when that energy flows through you, it lifts your spirits. It brings you new and fresh perspective, new and fresh thinking, new and fresh ideas. Sid would say it's where you find everything you're looking for and is given to you freely. All you have to do is be open and receptive to it. And then you become more aware of the movement of that energy. And you don't have to label it. Don't bother. It's not anything that can be contained by a label. Even the word love can't contain a feeling that is full of everything together. Pure feeling is full of peace, joy, love, compassion, caring, understanding. It's all in it. So there's no word that can contain it. When Sid had his enlightenment experience, he said, I felt like I have never felt before. It's not anything I can put into a box. Other than it was the most beautiful feeling in the world. Pure thought. Sometimes Sid would say it this way, pure thought is love. Now, he's not trying to label it. He's saying it's a beautiful feeling. You know what love feels like. You know what happiness feels like. You know what peace feels like. They're nice feelings. It's a nice feeling, but it's beyond the labels. It's just pure energy flowing. You're one with the universe. You're aligned with the universe. You're in the flow of life. And it's beautiful. And you'll be guided perfectly. Practical. If I don't feel close to my wife, it's not a relationship problem. It's an energy problem. If I don't feel close to my dog, it's not my dog is misbehaving. It's I've lost my connection to the pure energy of life. Otherwise, I would be guided in a loving, kind-hearted way right now. You have a problem at work, you can't ultimately find wisdom or the answers that come out of wisdom by thinking. So thinking about a problem can only take you so far. It can be helpful, but it can only take you so far. It'll take you right up to the doorway to wisdom. But then you have to step through that door. What's the door? The present moment. The state of no thought. no holding, not having to know anything, not trying to know anything, at peace, open, happy, present, alive, loving, beyond the words, just ordinary.